What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to Strangers Minds. I'm Fernando, and today we're gonna watch Goose Pimples' scariest ghost videos of 2025 so far. Because obviously we're still in 2025, so who knows what kind of treats we get this year. But without any further ado, well, this is like an hour-long video. So what I'm planning to do is that depending on how long each video is, I'll probably cut the 20 into five for each episode and record like four. I got like four episodes in one. That sounds just about right. So without any further ado, let's get it popping.
The door closing by itself was creepy enough, but what the hell was looking through the window? Paranormal investigators Dark Gate Aria decided to take on a truly terrifying challenge, exploring a haunted forest where, according to local law, children have been dragged into the darkness, never to be seen again. The locals believe a demon haunts these woods, thanks to shady occult rituals performed decades ago. Now, no one in their right mind dares to step foot there after dark, but Dark Gate Aria aren't exactly known for their right minds. So on a random Tuesday night, they packed their gear and headed straight into the heart of the forest, determined to stay overnight. What they encountered, the stuff of nightmares. Take a look.
داستانای اینجا خیلی زیاده، ولی گفتم یکی از مهمترین مسائلی که ما رو کشونده اینجا اینه که یه پسر 14-15 ساله، یعنی یه پسر بچه اینجا مفقود شده و هنوزم که هنوز پیدا نشده. تقریبا الان گفت از سال 92 گفتن. آره
گفت تقریبا 10-11 سال.
This guy looks so uncomfortable. Now without the hat.
و جالبی موضوع اینه که صدای اون پسر بچه، کسایی که اومدن اینجا موندن تا صبح، خیلی ها میگفتن ما صدای جیغ زدن و داد زدن، یا بهتر بگم شکنجه کردن یه پسر بچه، یه صدای بچه میشنیدن اینجا. و دلیل اصلی که ما اومدیم اینجا هم همینه. صدا خشخش آتیش
عزیزم تو چی شد؟
After hours of waiting and capturing absolutely nothing, ghost haunting luck, they decided to hunker down in their tent and wait for the stroke of midnight. Because that's definitely when things get spicy. And boy, did they. Out of nowhere, someone or something smashed against their tent.
صدا خشخش آتیش.
See how hard was it inside again? That was pretty hard.
Did you catch that? The tent window flat, like something pushed it from the inside. But here's the kicker. They had another camera to catch multiple angles, and we can clearly see there's no one touching it. No way they could have done it without being caught on camera. But oh boy, were they in for a full-on spookfest yet? What happened next? Even worse.
Just so you guys know, this is why it's very important for a paranormal investigator or even a content creator, because these guys aren't really, out there helping anyone. It's the forest, but it's always good to have multiple cameras just in case and you know, um, try and grab the whole spectrum of whatever room or space you're in when you are doing these kinds of investigation. Because to be honest, There's a lot of skepticism out there within, against the paranormal field, and even within the paranormal field, there's a lot of people out there calling each investigator stuff, fake. And honestly, there are a lot of people that are out there just for their 15 minutes of fame and trying to make money. But a lot of us actually try and help people, or even try to just investigate for fun, and even so to help the paranormal field get as much evidence as possible by visiting different locations out there. But yeah, there's something about going into these, wilderness, jungles, forests, whatever you want to call them. Oh my God, it's difficult when you have to try to prove certain things when you're outside, because anything could happen when you're especially camping. There's animals out there, there's all types of insects, bugs, flying around, but I gotta say, that was pretty cool. The way that flap of the tent kind of hit, and due to the camera angles, you was able to see the outside and inside. That was pretty cool.
کشیدن رو چوبه یه همچین حالتی داره.
اصلا نمیشه بگی چیز داره.
Damn.
چی بود اون؟ یا خدا.
They're being targeted right now.
یا خدا.
They're being targeted right now.
خدا چی بود این؟ کیه؟ برو پشت میگی.
Again, something struck the tent. No footsteps, no shadows, no one in sight. Was whatever did this trying to lure them out of their only safe spot? Whatever happened next
You're not safe in
might
the
have just confirmed it.
بابا مواظب باش. چی شد؟ چی شد؟ چی شد؟
Here's the thing. I do hope that this is, real. I mean, that kind of sounded wrong, right? Because they're getting their their fear is being pushed to the limit right now, and this could be highly, highly dangerous, you guys. But if I hope this is real, because there are ways to fake all of this stuff. Even with the bag pulling, could have been done with a string, since it's nighttime, and they're using, it's very easy not to see one of those invisible strings. I say invisible strings, but they're like very thin nylon kind of strings that is very difficult to break, and it is what people that want to fake videos use. So but yeah, that was a yank. If it was real, that was a yank.
Did you see that? As one of them went to investigate the knocking sound, something grabbed his bag and yanked him straight into the river.
بابا مواظب باش. چی شد؟ چی شد؟
At that point, they knew they weren't just dealing with a few creepy noises. This was something far more powerful. So, they did the only sensible thing, skedaddled back to their tent and got the hell out of there. But when they reviewed the footage later, they realised something had been with them the whole time. And it wasn't just the entity. Watch this.
ثبتی های مهم ویدیو. بچه اینجا رو ببینید. ما اینجا فکر کردیم، گفتیم خب شاید چوب آتیش گرفته و بالاخره یه تکونی خورده و افتاده، ولی بچه ما اینجا تازه آتیش رو روشن کرده بودیم و این خیلی خیلی عجیبه.
All of this stuff could have been done with strings.
این یکی از سبکی های عجیبمون بود توی
I mean, we want to give them the benefit of the doubt.
این جنگل.
this all could be real, you guys. It's just that
At
all of this could have
first,
been done.
they thought the stick moving near the fire was just from the flames crackling. But look closer, the stick wasn't touched by the fire and no one kicked it. So what moved it? And then came the biggest reveal yet.
ما رو عفو کنید. خب بچه تو این صفحه دقت کنید، یه چیزی از پشت درخت، ببینید این سرعت طبیعی خودشه، با چه سرعتی میاد سر میکشون.
Very dangerous. I mean, honestly,
قشنگ
even
میاد
with a
روی فیلتر سولاریزه کاملا مشخص. سبکیه بعدی.
at least now we know what was
For a
moving.
brief moment, a shadowy figure appeared just behind the tent. Was it the malevolent spirit that's been preying on children for decades? Or just a clever trick of the camera? You decide.
اینجا صحنه 3 ببینید قشنگ میاد. حالا نمیدونم.
I mean, when Goose Pimple says a clever trick with a camera, it has to be with, you know, probably photoshopping it in, doing some sort of editing to make all of this possible. But definitely, the yank of the bag, the movement of the branches, even with the tent moving around, we're just seeing them. And obviously the video has been cut to show the best of the video. We all do it as paranormal investigators because we got hours on end of footage. So we're not going to put hours on end from the moment we get there all the way up to when we leave. It's just not going to happen. It's going to be a 20-hour video. Although that would have been interesting to see what was their process of putting, of putting together everything they did. That way we could try and knock out more or less what was actually done. Now, but like I said, ain't nobody, content creators, they're not just gonna put hours on end of video, because even sometimes you could go out and investigate all day, all night, and you won't get a single thing. So yeah. Unfortunately, this is what we get. But if this is real, you guys, I would love to know where there was and what's the name of this forest, because there are many haunted forests all over the world that has been pretty freaky. Some Blair Witch stuff right there.
The YouTube channel Omega Toki Film is all about diving headfirst into Japan's creepiest corners to uncover the weird and unexplainable. Based in Okazaki, these investigators have a knack for finding abandoned homes and haunted spots that most people wouldn't dare set foot in. And trust me, what they captured in this mini compilation will leave you scratching your head. Take a look. Video 1, Hidden Hand.
とりあえずじゃあちょっと回収していきましょうか。
This looks
もう回収し
familiar.
て少しだけ検証したらもう終わりでいいかなっていうふうに思ってます。ちょっと布団の上に乗らせてもらおうか。
In this first clip, the team explores a cluttered Japanese home, where the camera lingers on a Buddhist altar and a memorial photo. The scattered objects and 2 large cabinets add an eerie stillness to the scene. At first, nothing seems to be out of the ordinary, but when you slow it down, things take a creepy turn. Through the narrow crack of one of the cabinets, a hand briefly appears, just for a split second. The kicker? No one else was in the room. So who or what was hiding inside? Video 2, the shadowy silhouette.
First off, I did like how the fingertips, because it was like the tips of the fingers, kind of came out and went back in all within the same shot. And due to, I mean, yes, there was a little bit of mess there, but not big enough to hide a whole body to do that. So I liked it. I actually used this technique before. I don't know about that one, you guys. And it sucks. It sucks. The reason why I say it sucks is because if one thing could be fake, then you have to assume that everything else is. And that looked like a pretty. Again, let's give them the benefit of the doubt. But if that was a pretty crappy, one of those crappy, how when you put something into a video and it's completely still, it's it's there's no movement, the edges doesn't really go with the video also. And I don't know, didn't like it.
The second clip takes us into another abandoned Japanese house, where the investigator cautiously documents the dimly lit rooms. He snaps photos of the main entrance, the bathroom, and even a mirror above the sink. Everything seemingly normal at first, but then the camera catches something spine-chilling. In the corner of an otherwise empty room, a ghostly figure appears, faintly visible, as if watching from the darkness. And just when you think it couldn't get creepier, it does. While filming the bathroom mirror, the reflection reveals a woman's figure standing behind him, silent and uncomfortably close. Oblivious at the time, the investigator only discovers this unsettling presence later while reviewing the footage.
The
Video
closer you
3,
get, the better
the
it is.
lurking presence. The third clip takes us into a room packed with scattered furniture. Among the clutter, he spots a vanity mirror wrapped in a blanket and begins unwrapping it. But as he does, things take a sinister turn. The doorbell suddenly rings, pulling his attention away. When he checks, no one's there. And just as he gets back up to unwrap the mirror, his static camera captures something bone-chilling. Can you see it? There was no one behind that door, but now we can see what looks like a woman with a disfigured face. But is it really?
Yeah,
Whatever it
it's a
was,
bit of a
prank, spirit,
stretch.
or something darker, one thing's for sure. If these walls could talk, we wouldn't want to hear what they'd have to say.
All right, the thing with that last clip is that, it's apparently an abandoned house that has a lot of junk in it, and there are a lot of objects that could have some sort of a shiny surface which would reflect any type of light, even night vision. Would You could see like a little shimmer coming out of it. It didn't move. Once again, it was another figure that didn't move. It was just there. So let's keep it moving.
While checking over the CCTV cameras at the hospital he worked at, this guy noticed something strange on one of the cameras. For weeks on end, he would regularly see the same phenomenon take place right in front of his eyes.
Ahí al doctor Anthony Choi lo vamos a llevar. Uy, qué. ¿Dónde sale? Mira, ahorita viene, ahí viene.
Es un fantasma, no lo va a captar.
Mira, ¿has visto?
Mira cómo sale.
¿Has visto dónde ha salido?
Caminando tranquilamente con brazos y piernas.
Félix.
Félix tiene que salir de dudas.
Masache.
Un fantasma. Mira.
He says that at first he thought it was perhaps a fellow colleague or a wayward patient, but how on earth would they vanish into thin air as they walked? It could be camera quality and compression issues, but the place the figure comes from is a GP office that is locked every single night and checked routinely, so there's no way that they could be hiding in there. The staff member sounds pretty relaxed about the whole situation, but apparently that's because he sees and senses many strange things while he's working. Let's just hope that the figure doesn't gradually start inching closer and closer to his office.
So, with a video like this, you have to look at the quality of the camera because the frame per second on top of that, uh, it makes or breaks a video with the quality of the camera. Because sometimes, as security cameras, once they're stationary, anything that isn't moving is going to be crisp and clear. But as soon as you see people, some movement, a dog, people, whatever, some movement there, you'll see that the frame per second isn't as good. That even with the movement, it'll leave almost like a trail behind them, almost like, like Flash running so fast that you see a bunch of flashes behind them. But due to the quality of the camera, definitely that could be it. That could be it. So he's showing, who's not to say that once he shows up on camera and you see him walking, and then as soon as he gets to the end, if he starts walking faster than that, then it's almost guaranteed that he's gonna disappear.
You never know what you'll dig up on an excavation. Ancient relics, lost artifacts, or something that should have stayed buried. That's exactly what happened to this archaeologist in India when he stumbled upon a dark cave and noticed something moving inside. Knowing none of his team was supposed to be there, he pulled out his camera and captured something downright chilling. What was that? A humanoid figure leans out from the darkness, locking eyes with the archaeologist. But here's where it gets even creepier. He doesn't remember any of this happening. The only proof that something was lurking in that cave, this footage. And just when you think it's weird enough, look again. The second that thing notices the camera, strange distortions ripple across the screen, almost like the air itself is shifting. A split second later, the archaeologist turns away, almost like he's under some kind of mind control. Memory wipe, alien influence, some freaky Asian magic messing with his head. Whatever it is, I'd be handing in my resignation immediately. But what do you think? Did this guy encounter something not of this world and have his memory erased to forget? Let us know in the comments.
So you guys, all I'm gonna say is that I'm also part of a podcast, the Shadow Files podcast, with my boys out from Australia, Jeremy and Gary. If I was to show this to them, they'll laugh. They'll definitely laugh. Because all of that could be easily orchestrated with somebody just on the other end of that, I don't know, quarry, ditch, you know, the entrance to hell. But that could have been another person just across, possibly even somebody that was with this guy. And due to the movement, they're trying to. It seems like they were trying to kind of get something, some recognition there. But if it is real, and we're following the story, and this guy definitely doesn't remember nothing besides the fact that that video exists, then that would be a little bit more interesting. Just a little bit more interesting.
It started as a quiet, uneventful Sunday at a museum in Russia, closed to the public for the day. But the peace was short-lived. The guards on duty noticed something strange on the camera feeds that would leave them, and many viewers, pretty unsettled. Take a look.
Avaramiz birev жүр ананың ішінде. Призрак. Көрдіңіз бе осыда? Призрак. Иә, көрдіңіз бе? Призрак жүр.
Kraan jabық тұрады.
Kraan жабық тұр, иә.
Мен жауып кеттім ғой.
Сіз шынап ход жасап жауып келдіңіз. Қайта сізге көрініп жаңа, көрінгенде сіздің есіңіз шығады еді. Бұны көрдіңіз бе? Елес жүр ғой, елес, призрак. Бәсе өткенде мен түнгі сағат 1-лерде көргем.
A transparent figure can be seen wandering the exhibit, appearing to examine some of the pieces on display. However, when one of the guards rushed to check the area, there was no one there. Did you spot how it seemingly walked through the object in front of it? What makes this even creepier is the museum's recent history. A while before this footage was captured, an elderly lady went to visit the museum with her daughter. During the visit, she told her daughter she wasn't feeling well and went to the bathroom. After waiting 20 minutes, the daughter went to check on her, only to find her lying on the floor. Tragically, it was already too late. Many now believe her spirit never left and was finally caught on camera. So what do you think? A genuine ghost sighting, or just a peculiar camera glitch? Let us know.
Well, first of all, that is no camera glitch. That is a wild, wild glitch. I did like, however, because the same thing with the last video, depending on the quality of the camera, everything is still, which is why it looks really clear. But as soon as somebody or anything is moving, that's when you can really tell the frame per second of the quality of the camera. But there was an instance where the figure was standing still and she was still transparent. That is the only reason why I find this footage interesting. And then with the backstory, it's a sad story. But jumping into a conclusion that that is the person right away, it's there's gonna be there. You need to do some investigation, some of sorts, to get this kind of information and put it out there. So my thing is that I actually like the video because for the what seemed like 3 seconds, the figure was standing still and it was still transparent. Everything else, I didn't really, I wouldn't say that it went through the face through the object or stuff, because there was like a good enough space where you know I've seen that if anybody out there has gone to a museum and people are very interested in a piece, you see that they're moving all around trying to get the whole grasp of the objects, like even trying to look behind it and all this and that. That's just the interest of the person. So we can't really say that she kind of faced through it. It could have been, you know, keeping in mind the quality of the camera. If she's moving around, it's gonna seem like she's going through it from the distance. Yes, but I did actually like this piece of footage just because of the 3 second that she started just standing there and she was still transparent. So you know what, you guys, we're gonna end it here at 15. So if you guys are interested to know what is the rest of the videos, you're gonna have to stay tuned for the next. Until then, please support the channel, hit that like, share, subscribe, follow, all that good stuff, and I'll catch you guys on the next. Peace.